Hey, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then welcome. My name is Maddie, and today I will be sharing my summer book haul. In total, I acquired 36 books over this summer, which is pretty much the average number of books I've been collecting seasonally, so that's not too surprising, at least for me. And as I've done with my past seasonal book haul videos, I have split all of these books into two piles. One of the books that I have read from this haul, and the other is of the books that I have not read yet from this haul that are still on my TBR. And I have counted all the books in each pile. Each pile contains 18 books each. So we have a completely balanced haul this time around, which is kind of cool. I always aim to read most of the books that I haul seasonally right away, so the fact that it's a balanced number is pretty good. And this was kind of a weird season in regards to hauling books because I ended up hauling most of my books from this summer in June. I think I acquired about like 25 books in June. These past 2 months, over July and August, I've barely purchased any books at all. And that is because at this point, I feel like I own so many unread books, so many unread physical books that I'm trying to make myself stop buying new books until I've read what I already own. And I'm doing good at that so far. I have not bought a book in, I want to say, at least a month, which is really, really good. Before I start though, I do want to apologize because I've been gone for a while. This is my second time filming this video. I originally filmed this video on my iPhone, but the footage ended up being corrupted. Like, it was all glitchy, and so I could not upload it. I had to scrap that video entirely, and so that's why I've been gone for a while, because the video I had planned to upload just went corrupt and I couldn't post it. So I have to refilm it, have to do it all over again, but at least here we are. And this time I am filming on my Canon DSLR camera, even though I said I'd film on my phone from now on because I think my iPhone has better visual quality. But if it's gonna corrupt like that, I'm not using it. I'm just gonna stick to my DSLR and we'll just deal with the quality we have here, I guess. So I think I'm gonna start with my unread book pile first and show you the books that I have yet to read, and then we'll go into showing the books from this haul that I have already read. So let's just get into it. The first book I have is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and this is actually the book I'm currently reading right now. I'm like 20 pages into it. I just started it yesterday, so I'm not far into it at all, but it is very cute so far, so I'm really looking forward to continuing reading this. This book is one of Ali Hazelwood's, like, one of her debut novels. I'm not sure if it's her debut novel, but it's at least an earlier book from her in her career that I've been wanting to pick up this year, and I'm so glad I'm finally doing it. This edition is, I think it's a anniversary edition. I don't know what number anniversary, actually. Probably just like 10-year anniversary, because this book has been out for a while. I found it at Target and I thought it was super pretty. It's a hardback copy. It has some sprayed edges right here. It has some artwork on the end papers, which I'm a sucker for artwork on the end papers, and it looks super cute. Love it so, so much. When I saw this edition, I'm like, yeah, if I'm gonna get this book, I need to get this special edition for sure. So, like I said, I am very excited to keep on reading this. It's so good so far, so I'm hoping the rest of this book is just as good as the beginning has been. Next, I have a book that so many people have been talking about that I have yet to read, and I need to read it already because I'm feeling left out, because so many others have read this book and I just haven't. It gets talked about all the time. I just need to read it already. So I got it because I do plan to read it, and that is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is a young adult romance novel. I don't read as much young adult as I used to. Every once in a while I will pick up a young adult book, but it's definitely a age bracket that I just don't gravitate towards as much anymore. I mainly just read adult books, but because so many people talk great things about this book, or this series, in fact, I just need to read this. So I am going to do that. I know it's a romance. I have heard that it is very emotional, which I love plots that can pull at my heartstrings. So really looking forward to this one, and we'll just see how it is. The next one I have is Covet by J.R. Ward. This is the first book in a spin-off series from the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, and I love the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. At least the books that I've read so far, the first like 8 books that I've read in that series, I have loved. So I feel like if I love that series so much already, I think I'm gonna love this one too. All I know is that it does have to do with fallen angels, whereas the Black Dagger Brotherhood follows vampires, so I think this will be a little bit different, but I do know that it takes place in the same world as the Black Dagger Brotherhood. This edition I found on eBay for like really cheap, and it's really, really beat up. It has been through it, but I think I got it on eBay for like $3, so I mean, you get what you pay for. It's fine. It's just this book has definitely seen better days. Next, I have A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. So I got this book because I read Megan Quinn's most recent release, Till Summer Do Us Part, this summer, which I loved that book so much, and I will be showing that book later on because it's in my read pile because I also acquired that book during the summer, so I'll show that one later. But because I loved Till Summer Do Us Part so much, I just know that I need to read more books by this author. And so I found this copy on Amazon for really cheap. I got it during their Prime Day sale in July. And so I snagged it because it was going on sale for a really good deal. And I know I want to read this one because it's by Megan Quinn. And I love Till Summer Do Us Part. So this is definitely going to be the next book that I read by her. And all I know is that it's a romance. I do also know that it follows a billionaire romance trope, so it should be really interesting. Next, I have The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. This is another book that I found on eBay. I added it to my cart because I got it from a seller who was doing like a buy one get one free sale, and so I basically just got this one for free. So I'm like, why not? I'll just add it to my cart. I have heard a lot about this book. This book I feel like was more popular a few years ago. There was just one point in the book community that this book was everywhere, and I never read it then, so I'm gonna read it at some point. And because I plan to read it at some point, I now have it in my possession. All I know is that this one is a romance, but that's it. Next, I have a book that I actually DNF'd for now, but I plan to get back to it at some point, and that is Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. I mentioned this one, I think it was in my last wrap-up, my July wrap-up. Yeah, because I tried to read this one in July when this book first came out. I was liking this book. I think I read the first like 100 pages. The problem was that I was getting into a really bad reading slump, and when I'm in a reading slump, I do not want to read fantasy books because it takes so much of my brain power to read a fantasy plotline that I was just feeling miserable while reading this book. And so I put it down, but I do plan to get back into it at some point because what I read from it, it's pretty good. It's not bad at all. I just picked it up at the wrong time. So I will give this one another chance at a later dates, maybe like later this year. I think this would be a great book to read during the winter, fall time, so I'm gonna try to read it again for sure. Next, I have a very exciting book that I've been looking forward to showing because I was so excited when I found this book. I snatched it up right away. Right when I saw it, I'm like, I have to have that. I just have to. That one is Fahrenheit 182 by Mark Hoppus. If you don't know, Mark Hoppus is from the band Blink-182. They're a band that's been around for a while. They are a punk kind of rock band. One of my favorite bands of all time. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, I have to have that because I love Blink-182 so much. But also I had to have this specific copy because it is signed. It is signed by Mark Hoppus. And that is so freaking cool. I found this copy from Premier Collectibles. They are a website that exclusively sells signed like books, vinyl CDs. I have purchased from them before, and from what I've researched, they are legit, so that is really cool. So I got this from them, and I have to show the actual signed page. It is right here, and it is amazing. So cool to have. Here it is. Oh my god. How awesome is that? They also have a little certificate of authenticity paper right here, which is really nice to have as well. So I just keep that in there. Really looking forward to reading this memoir. I am actually seeing Blink-182 next month because I'm going to the When We Were Young festival that is happening in Las Vegas next month, and they're going to be there. So I want to read this book before I go see them because I think that would be really cool, because this book is supposed to give more insight on the band and their background and Mark's experience being in this band. So I definitely want to read this one before I go to that festival next month. So I think I'm going to read this one. Actually, I think I might start this one after I finish The Love Hypothesis because I need to get to this one right away because of that. So I'm really excited to read it. Next, I have two really random ones that I found on Book Outlet for obviously a great deal because it's Book Outlet. And so I'm like, okay, this is the time to snag these two finally, and that is Finding Cinderella and Finding Perfect by Colleen Hoover. These are two novellas by her, and they're both a part of the Losing Hopes, well, no, the Hopeless series. The second book of that series is Losing Hope. It is the Hopeless series. I have read the first book in that series, which is Hopeless, so long ago. I don't even remember when, probably in like 2019. I really loved that book. I remember it being super depressing though, but I really loved it. And I would be thrilled to read the novellas from this series as well. So I'm going to do that at some point, but I do feel like I need to reread Hopeless because it's been so long since I've read it, and I haven't even read the second book in that series at all. The second book actually is the same plot line as Hopeless, but told in the love interest point of view. So it's basically the same book as Hopeless, but I would still like to read it, of course. Next, this is another book that I got from Book Outlet, and that is You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thau. This book has been on my radar for a while because the plot to it sounds really good. From what I know, it's about this girl who gets the urge to call her boyfriend who passed away, even though she knows he won't pick up. But when she calls him, he ends up picking up the phone and she hears his voice, but he's dead. And so that whole concept sounded really interesting. Sounds like it could have some magical like realism in it. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. I've been wanting to read it for a while. I just hadn't owned it yet, and now I do, so I can pick it up anytime, and I plan to. Next I have Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the first book in a series by JLA. It's another one I found on eBay for a really good price, so I picked it up. I had been hesitant to pick this book up though and actually read it because it is the first book in a series, but there's been no word on when or if the next book in the series is even coming out. I think this book came out in 2022. It'll say in here. It came out in 2023, so it wasn't that long ago. But for it to be 2 years and there's still no word on when the next book in the series is going to come out, that sounds very fishy to me. I don't know how else to put it. It just seems weird. And I've been hesitant to start this one because I don't want to start the first book in a series when there's just no word or guarantee if the second book is even coming out at this point. So I have been hesitant to pick this one up, but I still want to read it because it is Jennifer L. Armentrout and she's one of my favorite authors of all time, so I think I will still give it a chance. I just hope that this series will actually be continued so that I'm not left on a cliffhanger when I do read this book. I would prefer that, but all I know about this one is it is a fantasy, and that's about it. So I hope I like it, but I also hope that this series will be continued if I do end up liking it. The next one I have is Never Been Shipped by Alicia Thompson. I picked this book up when it first came out. And one of the reading goals that I've had this year is to try to pick up new releases and read them right away so that I'm like more in the loop with new releases. I plan to do that with this one and it just didn't happen. For some reason, this one just fell to the wayside when I planned to pick it up right away, right when I got it, and I just didn't. So I'm really disappointed in myself for that. The plot of this one sounds really good. It does follow a second chance romance trope between these two musicians who broke up a while ago, but then their band is forced to, for some reason, come back together and play on this cruise ship. And so the two members in this band are in forced proximity to each other, and I assume that feelings brew between them again. It's funny because I'm not the biggest fan of the second chance romance trope, but yet I still got this one because the plot of it still sounded good. So we'll just see see what I think about it. I hope I like it. I actually mainly picked up this book because the cover of it is absolutely stunning. I love how it has a pop art style. I think that is really, really cool. So this one was definitely a cover buy for sure. Next, I have a book that I got from Book of the Month. It's one of the only books from Book of the Month that I have right now that I haven't read yet, which is crazy, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This was an add-on book that I added on to one of my Book of the Month monthly subscription boxes. I just added this one on because this is a book that I've been wanting to read for a while. I've been really, really loving V.E. Schwab lately. I've been reading a lot of, well, not a lot, but a few of her books this year when I had never read anything from her before, and so I want to read this one really badly because this is such a beloved book by her that a lot of people love, and I think I would really like it. So when I'm in the mood to read another V.E. Schwab book, I am going to pick this one up. And speaking of V.E. Schwab, we have another book by her. This one is A Darker Shade of Magic. This one is the first book in a trilogy by her. It came out a long, long time ago, and I just haven't read it yet. This one is a fantasy, and I do know that it takes place in London, so it sounds really interesting. That's pretty much all I know about it. I know this is another one that a lot of fans of her really love, so I'm really looking forward to reading it. And next, I have Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston that I so clearly got from Target because I still have the Target discount sticker on it that I forgot to take off. So I'm gonna take that off at some point. I picked this one up because this book has been getting a lot of hype lately, so I want to be in the know. I don't want to feel left out, so I got this one in the hopes that I am going to read it, which I am because it sounds really good. This one I know is a romance, and it has a musical aspect to it, and I love books that have to do with music and are themed around music, so I think I'll like this one. We'll just see how it goes. Next, I have a box set. I got this box set from Book Outlet for like a crazy good deal. I could not pass it up. And that is the Avalon Bay Collection box set by Elle Kennedy, and it contains the books Good Girl Complex, Bad Girl Reputation, and Summer Girl, which the books are out of order for some reason. I need to fix that. Elle Kennedy is an author that I really love. I haven't read like her whole catalog, but I want to read more books from her, especially because I haven't read a book from her in a long time. So I definitely, let's just keep these out so I can show the books individually. I definitely want to get to this series at some point. The first book is The Good Girl Complex. That's the cover right there. And then we have this one. This is the second book. And then the third one. So I want to read this series, but I think it is a summer series, and I'm not in the mood to read summer books anymore because summer is flying by, going away, and so I'm not really in the mood to read summer books right now. So maybe I'll save this one for next summer, which is so far away, but I might do that. I am also kind of nervous to start this series because it hasn't gotten great reviews, which makes me nervous, but I did still pick it up because it is Elle Kennedy, and I really love the books that I've read from her so far, so I'm still hopeful that I'll like it. We'll just see. But yeah, I found these on Book Outlet. This whole box set was $20, which is absolutely such a great deal because 3 books for $20, you cannot pass that up. I thought that was so good. So I am glad to have it, and eventually I'll read them. And next I have a book that I picked up randomly. I had never heard about this book before, but I got the inclination to pick it up for some reason and get it. It was a weird experience. Anyway, that one is The Neverlist by Jade Presley. I was perusing Barnes & Noble one day, and I was trying to figure out what book do I want to get. For some reason, this one just called to me. I saw this one, I was like, this is speaking to me. For some odd reason. I don't know, maybe it's the cover. The cover is beautiful. Also, it's a special edition. It has pretty sprayed edges. And one thing I love about this book as well is the end papers. Like I mentioned earlier, I love books with end papers, and so it has beautiful art on the inside. So it's a beautiful book, and I think the packaging of this book just enticed me so much that I had to get it. I know that this one is a fantasy. Interestingly enough, this one follows the why choose trope, which is a romance trope that I have never read before. If you don't know the meaning behind the why choose trope, the basic idea of it is that we're following one girl, usually I think it's a girl, it might be a guy at some points, but usually it's a girl. We're following her journey dating several different guys at the same time. And she doesn't choose just one guy at the end, she ends up with all of them. And that trope has always been intimidating to me because I much prefer to read romances where we just follow one couple and their love story rather than the main character having multiple romances, because I feel like, I know it happens in real life, but I feel like that's not really realistic, because for me personally, I can only ever hold feelings for one person, like romantic feelings for one person, so I can't imagine having that kind of connection with several people at once, and so that's why I've steered clear of the why choose trope. But I think I want to give it a chance and just see what I think about it, because it's a trope I've never tried before, so like, I can't know if I absolutely hate it if I've never tried it, you know? And so I think this is going to be my first why choose book, and we'll see if I like it. We'll see if my mind has changed on it. I did look up reviews for this book, and the reviews are pretty good, so that gives me hope. But again, we'll just see what I think about it. I'm really, really excited to read this one, just to see, you know, what are my true thoughts on the why choose trope. So those are all my unread books out of all the books that I've hauled this summer. Now let's get into the books that I have read. First up, I have some more Jennifer L. Armentrout books. I've read these books so long ago. I think this was my first series that I ever read from her, actually. But I got some new pretty editions of this series, and that is Obsidian and Onyx. These are the first two books in the Lux series, and these are like the special collector's editions of the series. I have collected 2 different editions of the series at this point, which is crazy, but I still ended up getting these 2 because these are absolutely beautiful, and I need to collect all of the books in the series from this edition run. I only have the first 2 books right now. I know there's a special edition of the 3rd book out that matches this set that I need to get as well. I will get it at some point, but for now I have the first 2. They are so pretty. So these are the covers, and then the end papers. Oh my god, I love how they match the covers so well. I love these editions, and they're such better quality than the paperbacks that I have. Oh my god, I love them so much. Of course, I do plan to reread this series again. I love this series so much. It's so good. It never gets old. It specifically follows a romance between a human and an alien. So, that sounds interesting to you. Should finally give this series a chance because it's really good. Next, I have a book that I didn't really like so much, which sucks because I have a physical copy of it, but that is The Beautiful Maddening by Shay Earnshaw. This book ended up being very disappointing. I think I gave it 3 stars. I should round it down to 2 stars. I think that's more realistic of my true feelings towards this book. It was just a hot mess. I did love the first half of this one, but the latter half of the book was just very, very bad. So many things did not make sense. The ending, specifically, of this book made no sense and completely negated the main character's character development and, like, contradicted her entire development. It made absolutely no sense, and it is probably one of the worst endings I've ever read in a book. It pissed me off so bad, and that really lowered my rating of this one, which is, it's disappointing, because I really loved Shay Earnshaw's book, The Wicked Deep. That one is like a 5-star. I've read it twice, and I've loved it each time I've read it, so I had high hopes for this one, and it just let me down. It was really disappointing, so I don't know if I'm going to keep this book long term. I may unhaul it at some point, but I still have it at this moment. But yeah, this one made me sad. Next, I have another special collector's edition of a book, and this edition is absolutely gorgeous. When I saw it, I knew I had to have it. I knew I had to, because it's so pretty. That is the collector's edition copy of The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I have read this book before. I read this entire series, in fact. I want to say back in 2021, around that time. I did used to own all the books in this series at one point, but I had to leave them behind when I moved back to California from Texas because I didn't have room to take all of my books, and so sadly I had to get rid of those copies. But it is okay, because now that I know there is a collector's edition run of this series, I'm going to end up getting these nicer editions instead. So it all worked out in the end. So I have the first book in the series in the collector's edition. I have pre-ordered the second and third book that match this edition. They will be releasing in January, so I have to wait a little bit to get my hands on those ones. But the collector's edition of the first book released this year, so I have it already. It is so gorgeous. I'll show everything about it. So this is the cover. We have a dust jacket-less cover that is etched. What I love most about this edition is that it's all pink. My absolute favorite color. And then here is the sprayed edges. It says Hannah and Garrett on it, which is the two main characters we follow in this one. So that is awesome. And then there is the back as well. But there's more. We have some end papers right there. And the best part is that there is artwork throughout this entire book. Here's the first one. Oh my god, I died when I saw these. Isn't that just so freaking cute? And there's more. It does not stop there. I have to show the others. I mean, these just made me so freaking happy because I just love books that include artwork of the characters, and a lot of collector's editions do that nowadays, and that's like that's just my absolute favorite part of collector's editions. We have another one. There it is. Oh my god. So cute. And we have more. Wait, I gotta find it. There we go. Oh, this one's the best. Ah! Oh my god. It's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I do absolutely love the artwork that's in this book as well. That was such a cool touch and was so nice to see when I opened up this copy. Oh wait, I just passed another one. Okay, I'll stop. But I mean, come on. It's so freaking precious. Love that. So I love this copy. I will definitely be rereading this series again at some point, I'm sure, and I will read directly from this copy because it's absolutely beautiful. And I cannot wait to get the rest of the books in this collection when those come out next year. So I think I showed these books in my last book haul. I can't quite remember. I'm pretty sure I did, but even if I did, I'm going to show them again anyway because I technically got these books in June, so I got them over the summer. We're still going to show them, and that is Caught Up by Nevesta Allen. This is the second book in her Into Darkness series. The first book being Lights Out, which has been, I think, my favorite book that I've read this year. Of course, the year is not over, but I mean, I think that book is going to be my favorite book of the year, my favorite of 2025, because I'm absolutely obsessed with it. So, of course, I had to read Caught Up, and I got 2 editions of this book. This is the standard edition right here that I have annotated as well. This is the Barnes & Noble special edition copy of the book, which has a slightly different cover because we have some metallic details in it, in the title and in the eyes right there inside the helmet. And this one does have sprayed edges, which is really, really cool. It says, "How do you want it?" Love it so much. It's a really, really cool edition. It also does have an extra chapter that I have yet to read. For some reason, I haven't read it yet. Need to get on that. So yeah, love this edition, but I also have the standard edition because I wanted an edition to annotate. And I don't want to annotate a book that has sprayed edges because then that ruins the sprayed edges. So I have 2 copies. I will say the second book isn't as great as Lights Out. I still enjoyed this book, but it definitely has a different tone than Lights Out did. I feel like Lights Out was more comedic, whereas Caught Up is more darker, and I really enjoyed the comedic aspect of this author's writing more than the darker tone that we get in this one. Still enjoyed this though. Just wish I could have loved it as much as I did Lights Out. Next I have Vicious and Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. So I have read Vicious. I have yet to read the second book in the series, Vengeful, but I am going to at some point. I just included it in this pile because I want to talk about these books together, even though I haven't read Vengeful yet. That's why I wanted to do it. I really enjoyed Vicious. I gave it 4 stars. It was really, really good. Very interesting concept that this series has. And for that reason, I need to continue on with the series. Really soon before I start forgetting the plot of this one. Because that will happen. If I take a break from a series for too long, I will forget the plot of the first book and then be like totally clueless while reading the second book. So I need to pick this one up soon. These are actually library bindings that I found on eBay. I found these books for really cheap on eBay, and probably because they're library bindings, which makes sense. I would prefer them not to be a library binding, but because I got these for such a good deal, like I can't be mad about it. I'll take a book that is like $5 if it is a library binding, so I'm not too mad about it. I actually got A Darker Shade of Magic in the same order from the same place, and this is also a library binding as well. Next, I have some books that I have repurchased. So this is another set of books that I left behind when I left Texas for California, and so I had to get rid of my previous copies of this series, but I had always planned to repurchase them because I love this series, and that is the Royal series by Aaron Watt. The first book being Paper Princess. This is my ultimate guilty pleasure series. This series is hot mess express trash, but it is so good. It has so much drama in it that I just eat up. It is a young adult romance series, and if it sounds like anything you'd be into, you gotta pick these books up. And another book by Aaron Watt that I have that I also repurchased is When It's Real. I lost my copy of this book. I have been looking everywhere for it. I had a paperback copy of this book. I cannot find it. It is driving me crazy. I do not know where it went, but it's like not here for some reason. So I found this copy on eBay. I'm finding out that I've gotten a lot of the books that I've hauled this month from eBay. This is another one of them. I found this one on eBay for like $5, which was very nice because this is also a hardback edition of this book. So a hardback for $5 alone is pretty awesome. So I picked this one up. So it was a very easy book to replace. I love this book so much. This one follows the romance between a normal girl and a pop star, and it does follow the enemies to lovers trope as well, forced proximity. It is so freaking good. I'd love to read this one again as well. I think this is another one that I've read twice. Need to read it for a third time. It is so good. Alright, next we have a book that I talked about earlier in this video, and that is Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. I already mentioned I love this book so much, which was so nice because this was an author that I had never read from before. So for me to love a book by her this much when I'd never read anything from her before is pretty awesome. So I think she's going to be one of the authors that I'm going to start reading consistently from now on. Like I said, I'm going to get into A Not So Meet Cute next from her, which I'm really excited for. So I just need to read more books by her. This one follows a fake dating trope, but it's more of a fake marriage trope. The two main characters in this book have to fake a marriage between them for reasons. I won't get into the whole plot because when I explain this plot, it is very convoluted and it takes a while to explain. Definitely look up the synopsis to this book if it looks like something you'd be interested in. Just know that it does follow a fake dating kind of trope. If you like that trope, you're gonna love this one. I love this book. It's definitely going to be in the top 10 favorite books that I have read in 2025. Next, another book that I absolutely loved, and that is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. This is the sequel to her book Not in Love. And in this book, we follow two different characters that were mentioned in Not in Love, but weren't like too prevalent, but we're following them in this book. This one also has an age gap romance that was done so well. I loved the romance between these two. It was so tense. It was so angsty. It was so adorable. It was just everything. So far, out of all the Ali Hazelwood books that I've read, this one is my favorite from her. Of course, I haven't read her whole catalog yet. I'm working my way through all of her books, but as of right now, this is my favorite from her. It is so good. It was even better than Not in Love, the first book in this series. Okay, we are almost done. Lastly, I'm just going to get into my Book of the Month books that I've read from this haul. So, the first one is all the way over here. Let me stretch and try to get it. So that is another V.E. Schwab book. This is the book haul filled with V.E. Schwab books, which is awesome. I'm really happy to collect more books from her. And that is her newest release, which is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. This one follows vampires. So this one is a paranormal book. It isn't a romance, which is interesting because I usually only read romances. This book has romantic relationships in it, but I would not call it a romance because it doesn't specifically focus on the romance. We more so follow the 3 lives of 3 different girls in 3 separate timelines, and we're following each of their point of views and how their stories connect in the end. This book was an experience to read because it starts off really slow. It was admittedly really hard for me to get into at first, and that worried me because I was not sure if I was going to end up liking this book because of that. The second half of this book, though, is a lot better. That's when it really starts to pick up. So surprisingly, I actually ended up giving this book 5 out of 5 stars because I feel like the latter half of this book made up for the slower pace that we got in the beginning of this one. And I felt like the second part of this book had a really great payoff that made sledging through the slow parts worth it, because the slow beginning of this book was just filled with all of the character development that was necessary in order to have a great payoff at the end of this book. So it made sense, and that's why I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I really ended up enjoying it, and this is the book that has convinced me that I do definitely need to read more books by this author. Okay, let's start off with this one because I want to end this video off on a good note. So let's not end this haul off on a bad note where I talk about a book that I absolutely hated. So we're gonna spill some tea right now. So the next one I have is Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. So I will be talking about this book more in my next wrap up. I'm not gonna get too deep on my feelings for it right now. I'm just gonna throw it out there that this book was not good. This was bad. And I feel bad for saying this because I know this is a debut book from this author, but I just really did not like it. This one is a fantasy. It is a young adult fantasy, and it surrounds the theme of the afterlife. It has a very interesting concept, and that's what made me feel so hopeful that I was going to like this book, but it was an instant of a great concept, but bad execution, unfortunately. So I will absolutely talk more about it in my next wrap up, and I'll probably go into an entire rant on why I really did not like this book. And I'm even more upset that I didn't like this because I have been loving every single book that I've read from Book of the Month so much that I thought they could do no wrong, and I finally read a book from them that I absolutely despised. So that was disappointing. Alright, lastly, I have How Freaking Romantic by Emily Harding. This, on the other hand, was a book that I really, really enjoyed. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It's another one that I will be talking more about in my next wrap-up, but I'll just say that I really, really loved it. We follow a romance between 2 lawyers, which is a very interesting concept, and the romance in this one was so freaking cute. It's enemies to lovers, and the romance in this book was executed so, so well. I had never read a book by this author before, and I think this one is actually her debut solo book. She has co-written with another author before, but this is her first solo work, which is really cool. Well, there you have it. Those are all of the 36 books that I have acquired over the summer. It would be really helpful if you were to comment and let me know, out of all of the books that I haven't read from this haul, which one should I pick up right away? Because I'd be very interested to know which one you think I should read really soon. And also, because it's been so long since I've uploaded, I'm going to come out with another video this week just to kind of make up for it. I'll post twice this week. My next video is going to be of all the vinyl records that I've collected over the summer. My last vinyl collection video that I just did decently well, and so that tells me maybe I should continue introducing some music themed videos into this channel, because music and collecting vinyl specifically is something I'm really into right now, so I think that'll be fun. So that's what I'm going to do, and so if a vinyl record haul sounds interesting to you, look out for that video that is coming next. And with all that said, I guess that's it, so I'll be back really soon, and thank you so much again for watching. Bye!